Thank you guys for having me this afternoon. Like Don said, I am going to talk today about my PhD projects that I'm working on. And so just a little background. First I'm going to give you the background about internal parasites, dewormers, and then I'm going to move on to my two projects. So to start off, internal parasites, they flourish in the southern states, as most of you all know. With that being said, the southern states account for approximately 40% of the U.S. beef herd, or 11.8 million beef cows. So they play a big role in our operations. They can cost the cattle industry approximately $2.5 billion annually, which that turns into some huge profit losses. They can do this by decreasing animal appetite, feed efficiency, total gain, average daily gain, and there are potential reproductive performance issues that we're going to discuss maybe later on in the presentation. So some background information on what cattle producers do in the United States as far as their deworming protocols. Approximately 38% of producers do not deworm their calves prior to weaning. 41% of cattle are not dewormed at weaning, and slightly under 60% of replacement heifers and cows are not dewormed at least once a year. So that can play into that huge economic detriment for cattle producers. Just a typical life cycle for most of the parasites that affect beef cattle. So the infected calf sheds eggs in their feces. These feces then are excreted obviously in our pastures, and then the eggs hatch within the fecal pat. They develop into a larval stage 1 that develops into a larval stage 2, and then it develops into an infective larval stage 3, which then moves its way to the grass or the pasture which our animals eat, and then that susceptible animal picks up the infective larval stage from the pasture, and then the whole cycle perpetuates from there. So now, kind of just a brief description of what kind of dewormers are out there on the market for you guys. We have three typical classes of dewormers. We have your metronidazole thiazoles, which are your levamisole. Then you have your white drenches, which are going to be your valbasans, your Panacur Safeguard, and your Synanthic. And then you get into the macrocyclic lactones, which are divided up into two subclasses, which are your avermectins and your mimimycins, which the avermectins can be your Ivermect, your Dectomax, your Prenomax. There is a new product on the market now. It's called Long Range, which we will talk about here in a little bit, and then your Cydectin. So just a brief overview of what it costs to treat your animals with these different products. So for your white drenches, like I said, your Synanthic, your Safeguard, your Valbasan, it's going to cost you roughly $1.08 to $2.66, depending on if you're treating a 550-pound calf or a 100-pound cow. And then your pour-on treatments can range from $1.25 to $2.94 for Ivermectin, Cydectin, your Prenex, and then your Dectomax. And then your injectables, like I said, there's a new one called Long Range, and they range from $1.41 to $9, and that Long Range being the highest. So like I said, there is a new product on the market. It's going to be discussed heavily in the next couple slides. It's a long-acting aprenomectin. It's recently available on the market. Its trade name is Long Range, like I said. It's a macrocyclic lactone. It lasts for about 150 days in the system. It's characterized by having 2 peaks of effective doses. So obviously whenever you administer it, plasma concentrations of it are the highest. And then that concentrations decrease to about day 70. And then from day 70 to day 90, it has a second peak. And then from day 90, plasma concentrations of it are eliminated from the system. So It's characterized as having approximately 150 days effective usage. So then this moves me on to my first project. It's titled Performance of Rotationally Grazed Spring Calving Cows and Their Calves under Various Deworming Regimes. This project took place here at Batesville, where we used 82 spring calving cows, and it began approximately February 13th of last year. We had 3 treatment groups, which included a long range, then a synanthic, and then a negative control, which there were no anthelmintics administered. Each cow had natural and nematode infections, and so we didn't dose them. And our treatments grazed within treatment, so our synanthic cows grazed with synanthic cows, our long-range cows grazed with long-range, and same for control. And they grazed 8-acre pastures. They were set up to have 4 pastures per the rotation. And then we used a 60-day breeding season that began mid-May and lasted till July. And then at weaning, our calves received similar treatments as their dams. They were weaned in late September, and they were offered 3 pounds per head per day of corn gluten post-weaning. So moving on into our performance measurements. Obviously on day 0, we wanted our cows to have similar body weights. But as you can see on day 14, our control cows decreased body weight, our long range and our synanthic cows increased body weight. And then when you get to day 91, our control cows still continue to lose weight, our long range cows increased weight, and then our synanthic cows decreased weight. Keep in mind that approximately day 91, that long range is having its second peak of plasma concentration, so that might be why they had a higher body weight, because they were getting that extra round of anthelmintic treatment, whereas our synanthic and our control cows didn't. And then day 154, our control cows increased body weight, our long range cows increased body weight, as did our synanthic cows. And at day 230, which would be at weaning time, our long range had the highest body weight compared with our 2 other anthelmintic groups, which our control cows still losing weight. So, and then average daily gain, like I said, our long range, overall average daily gain was the highest, with those control cows losing weight. It shows 0, but it was really a negative average daily gain. And then when you're looking at our fecal A counts, so the superscripts will say if there's a significant difference or not. Doesn't really, I don't have a description of it, but so fecal A counts, obviously, whenever we started the project, we wanted them to be the same, but when you get into day 14, our control cows' fecal A counts were higher than our treated cows, and then, which can be correlated back to that body weight. And then at day 91, our fecal A counts were the same. And then day 154, our control cows had the highest fecal A counts. And when I get to day 230, you can see that rapid increase of fecal A counts for our long-range group. One possible reason for this is maybe those internal parasites are becoming resistant or developing their own immune functions to combat the commercial dewormer. So that might be a possible reason why at day 230 those fecal A counts are higher. So moving on to their conception rates, we didn't notice a difference, a huge difference statistically on our conception rates, with our control calves having a 78% conception rate, our long range having a 61% conception rate, and our Synanthic cows having an 81%. I'm not sure the reason why our long range were numerically different, because they were the heaviest cows, but nonetheless, they did have the lowest conception rates.
And you said that wasn't statistically?
It was not Nope. It's a pretty big difference, but it didn't come up to be a difference, and I don't know why this isn't working. Nope. It's working on here. Oh. Yeah. I moved it too far.
Which way do you want to go?
I need to go backwards. No, keep going.
Keep going?
Keep going. Or, no, I guess I went the wrong way. Sorry. Okay. Sorry.